I didn't, I didn't stay late. Nobody stayed. Somebody stayed.
Yes, sir.
But nobody stayed.
All right. All new episode from Run and Tell That podcast. Um,
Yeah.
how's y'all week going? How was y'all week?
It's been a good week. It's been a good
Yes,
week.
yes. A great week.
Yeah, I can't complain.
Couldn't wait for the weekend. I used to it, but I couldn't wait for the weekend.
Sometimes the weekend is the best thing. You know what I mean? Monday through Friday is good.
Yes.
Now, look, think about it. Most people think about Friday being as a part of the weekend.
Weekend. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
So, I mean, I have to actually trim that down to like
Yeah.
Friday being a weekend.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yes.
To
Mm-hmm.
extend it. I mean, for me, after 3 o'clock on a Friday, I'm
Yes, sir.
ready.
Yes,
You
sir.
are
You
ready?
Got
ready to
my
go.
weekend start.
Yes.
Yep.
Looking
Okay.
forward to it.
Ro, how was your week?
Oh, it's been pretty good. I can't complain as well.
Okay.
We here.
Awesome, brother.
And mine was pretty good. Can't complain. My
Good.
week's not over. My week is not officially over until Tuesday, but so
Wow.
far it's pretty good. Um, so tonight's topic, episode 81, how to get away with pocket pool. P Diddy stroking role as Pop Pop. So have y'all been keeping up with the Diddy trial
I
and what's
haven't.
been going on with that?
I haven't, but you know, I haven't been keeping up with it. I'm hearing things here and there, and talking with different people that's bringing it up. That's my opinion on things. Not keeping up with the trial, but I'm kind of going on what other folks have been telling me about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been
Mm-hmm.
watching the evening news and things like that, and getting Cassie's currently pregnant. I think 8 months or so. So I know they wanted to get her
Yeah.
on and off,
Yeah.
off the stand as soon as possible. But
Yes.
there's been a lot of information coming out, and again, when you think about overall, it's like it's your interpretation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's what you perceive it to be.
yeah,
Cassie has said some things that don't sound good.
Yeah.
yeah.
Again, and her being an adult at the time, but some say it was strictly manipulation.
Uh-huh.
Some say it was consent.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's left open to those that got the information.
Yes.
Yep.
And I don't mind saying the baby ain't mine. Go ahead,
Yes,
G.
sir. Yes, sir. Well, I agree with that. When you think about the P Diddy trial,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people want to say, hey, when she actually sent that information over to his assistant
Uh-huh.
about the $30 million,
Yeah.
could he buy the book deal and all this stuff?
Uh-huh.
Why didn't he did it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, you got to remember, everybody got a story to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when we think
Yeah.
about P Diddy, we know that he is one of the most notorious guys.
Yes,
He'll
sir.
send people out there to do things and
Yeah.
all that stuff like that. But when it's consensual,
Yeah.
it's consensual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When it's not consensual, it's
Mm-hmm.
not consensual.
Mm-hmm.
So like with P Diddy
Mm-hmm.
stuff, I think that it's 50-50 now. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
His attorneys did a good job, and the ASU, whatever they call the attorneys of the United States,
Yeah.
they did a pretty good job of laying down the fundamental value of the procedure. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
I think when you look at the amount of evidence that they say they have,
Yeah.
again, P Diddy, unfortunately, he recorded
Yeah.
a lot of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and there was enough people involved that there was enough, people sharing information,
Yeah.
good and bad.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, again, you got consent,
Uh-huh.
and again, you've heard words like trafficking,
Yeah.
But
coercion,
is it really?
assault.
But
Yeah.
is it really trafficking when you only got? Look, what is trafficking?
Traffic.
So
Go ahead, G.
no, so what is trafficking?
Trafficking is a process of taking someone against their consent and their permission and moving them to different areas to be used and most of the time for
Sexual act.
sexual acts and slavery.
Mm-hmm.
So so
Sexual
P
acts and
Diddy
slavery.
trafficking is
No, it's
based on
no trafficking is basically that, but they can be they can give consent also. If you're flying someone from one place to another for
Sure.
the thing of a sexual act, that's trafficking. That's how they got R. Kelly.
Yes,
They all knew where they
if
were
they're
going, but
underage
it was a
in that.
sexual thing. Yeah.
Yes, if they're underage
okay.
for that for that to apply, they have
and
to
they don't
be
have to be
They
under
under
don't.
they don't
age.
have
No,
to be under
no,
age.
no. There's a
But
no.
but
There's a
young,
loophole in that law. You don't
yeah,
have to be
Yeah, but
underage. You don't have to be underage. You
young
can be.
age.
well,
You don't have to be underage.
rappers fly females
Yeah,
out all the time. So
So
yeah,
and that's why. And that's what's got everybody worried
yeah,
now.
I understand. Gotcha.
You
Well, that's
go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say that's confusing because I would have thought that in order for it to be related to Trump, you can if they either over the age and you take them without permission and without their consent, or underage even with their consent.
I think it's a bit of coercion
Yeah.
in that, like I said again, they might have consented, but
Yeah.
they felt like they had no choice
Uh huh. Oh yeah.
but to say yes.
Uh huh.
But again, you got to be
Yeah.
mindful that these parties went on for days,
Yeah. Yes.
and right now a lot of names are coming up,
Oh yeah.
names of, in the entertainment
Yeah.
community,
Yes.
and again, like I said again,
so when you say names now,
hmm
think about it. And I'm not trying to throw no
no,
monkey wrench
no,
or
no,
nothing,
no, no,
but think about black names that's coming up.
Uh huh.
black and white,
Yes. All
Think about it.
colors.
But it's more black that
yeah,
they
yeah,
actually
yeah,
working,
Yeah.
trying to fit.
Hmm.
Look,
Probably
they
because
saying Jay-Z,
yeah,
Beyonce,
Beyonce,
you bring those names up.
they
um,
saying
again, Jamie
they
Foxx,
saying
Yes.
Jamie's Foxx.
uh,
They say
I mean, just names after
They,
name.
they thought that originally the rumor was that Jamie Foxx had been poisoned
by
by
P
P
Diddy.
Diddy when he got sick.
Mm.
Then he had his was it an HBO special?
No,
Netflix,
Netflix.
Netflix
Netflix.
special. Did y'all watch
I
that?
watched.
Yeah,
And
it
he
was
made
good.
that statement. He said, no, people saying P Diddy did this to me. He said, but he didn't do this to me. He
Mm-hmm.
explained what happened. He said, and when it come to them P Diddy party, he said, when I forget how he put it, but
He's I left.
he left
Yeah.
before.
Everybody left.
Yeah, yeah,
Somebody had to stay.
yeah. But Jamie got out of there. He was saying he got out of there early
So,
before that lubrication got on the doorknob.
but if you,
Oh wow.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
but if y'all really,
Nice.
if you guys really think about the P Diddy is just he go both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He wanted he. I mean, if you
Yeah.
think about it,
He's bisexual.
he
he's
bisexual,
bisexual.
and this right now is just opening up like what 50 Cent was saying.
Yeah.
Diddy had a lot of men that he was having. Look, some of them they don't want to actually testify
No,
because a
no.
lot of people gonna be looking at them different.
Exactly.
Just
Hey.
so think about it. You get subpoena right now, and you went to a Diddy party,
Yeah.
and you get subpoena that you gotta come to court.
Yeah, subpoena. Gotta go.
You gotta come to
Show up.
court.
Yeah.
And you went to a Diddy party, you went in and one of them freak off.
Yeah. Yeah.
JP.
It was.
And they seen your haircut and all that
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Keep talking. G.
They can't see nothing about other than your glasses.
They
And they
put,
said
if I was at
it
a
was
P,
JP.
if I was at a P
JP.
Diddy party and they set up my glasses with P Diddy, I might be trying to kill somebody. My glass was fogged up. Go ahead, G.
But you know,
P Diddy didn't play, y'all. P Diddy
no,
rock.
P Diddy is a gangster.
Yeah.
Play.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah. He
That
got some
joke is
thug. He know
look,
about that thug life.
What's the
look.
light skinned actor name, y'all? They were just talking.
Oh, Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, y'all hear
Oh
Terrence
yeah, I
Howard talking
seen
about
that.
how P Diddy
Yeah.
kept inviting him, talking about he want him some acting lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept going. He said P Diddy sitting in the room looking at him. Y'all fellas, y'all see that? Terrence Howard talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and Terrence Howard said that finally he went several times, but no acting lessons. And then finally his manager told me, assistant told me, I think he wants to you.
Mm.
And that's when Terrence Howard,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, and so it's like Terrence Howard said, if you are truly a masculine man, that's something you can't give that up. You ever give that up or let somebody take that from you, you'll never be the same.
Look, man, look. All right, so and we all are men here. I don't think none of us had like dropped the soap or had somebody to
I was
physically
dropping
do.
soap, G man, but I was in my shower by myself. Thank the Lord. Even then, I was looking around like, go ahead, G.
No,
Mm.
I don't think that none of us are like that.
Mm-mm.
So when guys like, is it and this is just a question, is it a promise thing that hey, if you let me do this to you and whatever,
Yes, in some
you
cases,
get some money or I can make sure you get this
yes,
album deal. I can make
yes.
sure you know what I mean.
And
You
many of it was the case.
yeah, you got to be mindful that P Diddy was powerful
Yes.
enough to make a lot of
I,
promises.
yes,
You
and
know,
then
even with Cassie,
yeah,
I think, like I said again, now everybody has their own opinion. Everybody heard the
yeah,
same stories, but again, he had enough power and influence
yeah, it could do it.
to make some promises.
Yeah, it could
You know,
fulfill what they wanted to.
of a movie career,
Yeah,
of song, a music career,
yes,
and again, like I said, he could have held that over her head.
yes,
But again, like I said, you sometimes you got to draw the line.
yes,
It's just not worth it.
yes,
You know, I can't sell my soul. You know, and sell my soul and give away my body.
yes,
You know, for a promise
Hmm.
that he may not keep.
yes,
You know, so like I said, but again, it might have been others
yeah. That
that
was
felt the same way.
yeah, and then it's my understanding there was many cases where it was non-consensual,
Yeah,
where
you got no
P
choice. Yeah,
Diddy just took it,
yeah.
and many of them was men.
But yeah,
That's
yeah,
why I think
yeah.
if y'all look at Justin Bieber now, he's just as lost and just as damaged emotional.
Yeah, that butt
And,
gone.
yeah,
That butt
yeah,
gone.
yeah,
He
you,
can't. He
you
can't.
know,
Oh shit.
He can't
you
bring the
can't,
butt. He can't bring the
you
butt
can't.
back.
Listen,
Yeah,
Terrence
butt
Howard
gone.
said,
Yeah, bunch gone. Can't bring it back.
Terrence Howard said, if you ever let somebody take your manhood, and
Yeah.
they asked, what do you mean by that? He said,
Look,
you know what I mean.
let me tell
You'll
y'all
never
this, man. And you know what? And not to cut you off, bro.
go ahead.
But
You cut me off, G.
look. By your by by your manhood,
Mm-hmm.
there's a butt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So if anybody stick anything in your man, I mean anybody stick anything in your butt, you should be feeling in your manhood. And what I'm saying is that look, you ain't
No,
supposed to go there. You ain't supposed to go there.
no.
Yeah.
Hey, hey,
You know
hey.
what I mean? Not no nobody should be.
I dodged a colonoscopy for the longest for that reason, G.
Mm.
Because
Hey, you need a colonoscopy? Oh no, I don't. Go ahead, G.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, so nobody should. I mean, like, and we sit. We I mean, think about it too. And I'm getting logical about it.
yeah.
But we sit there
Yeah.
and we think about the gay people.
Yes, but think about the non-gay people that Diddy got a hold of, because there was some of them that wasn't gay, and
If
from
I had that much money and you gonna sit there and you gonna actually do butt stuff,
you show up and Diddy took it. He
Mm.
took it. You know, that's what it boiled down to.
Man.
But not all of them. Some of them was consensual. And here's the worst part about it, fellas. Some of them are these hardcore rappers. They're
Mm.
supposed to be so big and bad that they talk like Diddy got a hold of.
Mm.
yeah,
You,
did yeah.
yeah, he's a bad cat now.
Hey,
My,
look,
my thing is now you're in the trial phase.
Yeah,
He's been locked up for a
a lot of
while.
most stuff comes
He ushers his family into
out.
court, his
Smart man,
mother,
smart man.
and again it looks good,
Sway
but in the same token,
that way, man.
I'm like, how do I sit here and let my mother listen to all of this?
Didn't I hear
You
what
know, I
some?
don't. How do I mean, and it's, who knows? His sons might have been involved. I doubt very seriously that the girls was even letting nowhere
Yeah,
near the place. But that's something for me to sit there and
I
listen
know.
to my mother hear me.
I
You
remember.
know, let my mother hear all the
Yeah,
stuff I didn't
yeah.
did.
I remember reading an article,
Well,
y'all. I don't. Supposedly he had sex with his mother. I'm telling you what I remember
yeah,
reading
Oh,
years
they
ago. Have y'all
yeah,
heard
yeah,
that?
they
yeah, he
said
did say that.
that's a room. Yeah, that's a rumor. That's a rumor that's
He
been going
took it.
around that they had a weird like relationship, and
Yes.
they saying
Sex
that
with
some
his
of
mother.
some of the freak offs, she was the one who planned some of the freak offs.
Wow,
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that, but
Yes.
that, you know
Many
what?
Yeah,
years ago,
That
yeah,
G.
that's
that
been a
that
rumor for
that.
that's been a rumor for like a few years now about
Yeah, that's
because they
what
got like
I
a
heard even
weird
before all this
relationship.
crap. Yes, sir, my brother.
And
Yeah,
you got to be mindful that maybe some of this is where some of these behaviors come from.
Yep.
Maybe they were learned behaviors.
Damage.
You know,
Damage.
he's
Mental
damaged,
damage from
and that's why maybe mom ain't. You know, like I said, I wouldn't want my mother in there.
no.
But if she know what she know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got
hmm
that right there. Yeah, no, no. My mom is my baby now. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I've heard. I remember years ago reading. I don't remember what I read this article where he literally raped his mom.
wow,
Yeah,
wow,
I,
That's sad.
yeah.
yeah,
He got
It
issues,
would
man.
make her do things.
But
Yeah.
but my question to the panel right quick
Go
is
ahead,
this.
bro.
So if P Diddy trial in tomorrow,
hmm
guilty or not guilty? Stop. Roll.
Shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think it probably would be it may be a it may be a hung jury, to be honest with you, for them to
No.
retrial because I feel like the defense was doing pretty solid, I guess up until like was that yesterday, where it
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
got a little
yeah,
shaky for him.
yeah.
But when you start looking at the text messages between him and Cassie, with you got even with Cuddy, even though he said he was gonna blow, even though he supposedly blew the car up, was gonna kill him, she was fearful for Cuddy. She still was cheating on Cuddy for the freak offs, and as well as sleeping with him. You look at the
He knew.
husband. So you look at the husband now, which was the boyfriend then. Diddy had raped her. They literally was texting the next day, 2 days later, whatever it was, and
Yep.
it
two
was
days
like
later.
LOLs going on between them, with her saying like the vibe was off.
Why
He
she
like,
left?
yeah, I'm sorry, and then he was like, hey, can we like talk? She
She
wanted to
left.
have a end type deal, and then what? Boom! Was it the next week or 2 weeks later, however it was, she consensually had sex with him, and the current husband slash boyfriend, he was the boyfriend at the time. He calling, she sending him the voicemail because she's sleeping with Diddy,
Oh
and
yeah.
then they was like, it was supposed to be one more freak off that was popping off then. So then it's like, yeah, with all that going on, is because it seemed like they're trying to build a Rico case to what y'all was saying earlier. This it started out as the thing with Cassie and the freak off. Now it's like a Rico case. So it's kind of hard to do the Rico case to find him guilty when it's like, okay, she said that she was forced into it. Then you got the messages with him, he sending her like, yo, this dude got a big dick, and then she like, I can't wait to get this BBC in this pussy and all this other shit. She talking about paying the maids because she's so horny and she want dick and she just want to freak off, and he like, well, if you want to
Yep.
freak off, you go ahead and you set it up. Like it'll be kind of hard not to drag it. But my thing to your question, it'll be kind of hard to find him fully guilty. I think it would be a mistrial. I think it'd be a
Yeah.
hung jury on it.
What? And you know what's so sad? And I say this. Look, we do not condone sexual violence.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
mean, we don't
Sexual
we don't
assault
we don't condone none of that stuff.
at all.
But the
That's why I
facts are
keep telling
facts.
people no mean no.
No means
I'm
no.
gonna lean on that one
Yeah.
heavily.
No
Yeah,
means
No,
no.
maybe mean no.
Yes.
that's right.
I think I would like to try. That's no too.
Yes.
No.
Adele, you
But
got more training than any of
Yeah.
us on
but
that.
the
Yeah.
facts of the matter is this: she got paid $20 million,
Yeah.
and then she sat on the stand now and cried and said that she would give it back. Give it back, then.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if she sit there and say, "I'll give back the $20 million," because you got to remember now, when she did this, now she only had $100,000 in her account.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband, as a personal trainer, he ain't had nothing. He had like 50, 60,000.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So when
Mhm.
she sent all the information to P Diddy, and I'm kind of confused by that P Diddy stuff. Look, if somebody tell you they got a tell all book about you, and they've been in your life for 11 years, man, I'm settling.
Yeah. I
I'm
would too.
settling.
Yeah.
I
Look,
would
man,
I
too.
done saw some stuff in
look,
11 years.
Yeah.
look,
Yeah.
I'm settling.
Me
Yeah.
too, G.
Man, look, I'm paying that 30, 25,
Yeah.
$20 million
Quick.
dollars
Yeah.
Quick.
before they actually, because
Quick.
once you got people
Ain't
like
gonna
when,
be.
when you got the attorney of the United States,
Yes.
once they start looking into it, they're gonna blow
Yes.
everything out of proportion.
Oh yeah.
Everything.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like I was asking somebody the other day, who did he sex traffic other
Mm-hmm.
than the male guy? And
Yeah.
the person said this like this. The person said, you gotta remember now, it's an 8 weeks trial. So there's gonna
Yeah.
be some people coming up.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
who did he sex
It's
traffic?
gonna be, G, I believe it's gonna be more come
She's
forth, G.
but she's the main attraction right there.
Yeah.
I got you. But
Yeah.
now, G, it's getting ready to change. You watch. Well, hey, I think it was somebody up fearful of P Diddy that they wasn't about to say nothing.
Man, he still can get them.
Yes,
Think
he
think about
called the shots inside the jail. They say.
Everybody can get got.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
and P
including him.
Yeah.
P
But they say
Diddy,
he called the shot like Al
man,
Capone while he in jail.
y'all don't get it twisted, man. That man can do some stuff,
Yeah,
bro.
while
Y'all
he in
see
jail.
y'all see that crazy man. That man, he sit there. That joker said, somebody said, he in jail. He's still having a good time in jail.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Other than
Oh shit.
other than the drugs.
When Al Capone can go to
Mhm.
jail and call the shots, P Diddy's like an Al Capone while he's in
Hmm.
jail. Yeah, they talk
You're
like
right.
yeah. Nobody mess with P Diddy, and he called the shots. He get favoritism. He's able to call out. He's able to still conduct business. It's from what I was reading several weeks back. Yeah. So yeah, he's still dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how do y'all
At
feel
the end,
about the not to cut you off, I'm sorry, but how do y'all feel about far as like I think it was one of the guys, he was saying that for him it wasn't about the money. It's just that he enjoyed having that good time and
Wow.
being in that environment of the freak offs. So how do y'all
Oh
feel
yeah.
about as far as them going
let,
with the
let,
Rico
let,
case?
I don't,
Mm-hmm.
bro. I don't know much about building a RICO case, but let's just look at human nature.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
come to a party that's extravagant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, probably all you can drink, all you can eat, all
Mm-hmm.
the pharmaceuticals, the
Yes.
party
Yes.
supplies. Again, you're around beautiful people, and there's no limitation.
Uh,
It may not have been about, he made me come.
yes.
Some people
No.
just gonna
They
come. They're gonna come to
Yeah.
see who's there,
P
and
Diddy
if they
party.
got an opera, exactly. This is a Sean Combs. This is a P
They
Diddy
throw
party,
parties like
And
a
it's
P
free.
Diddy party.
exactly, and
It's
the
free.
price is right.
Price
Yeah.
is right.
I just got to get in the front door.
Yes, sir.
I got to
You
be
hit
able to
the nail
keep my
on the head.
mouth shut. And again, so a lot of people weren't made to come to these
They
parties.
thought they were until they got
They
there.
got there, and then like I said, and things might have changed
Yes, sir.
once you got through the front door. But at the end of the day, man, it's a P Diddy party.
P Diddy party.
Man, I'm going here. I'm gonna enjoy myself. I'm gonna have a good time. So, like I said, at the end of the day, like I said, so we got to be mindful. People came not
Mm-hmm.
because they had to come; they came because
Yeah.
they
They
wanted to
wanted to
come.
come. Yes,
Yep,
they
Mm-hmm.
ain't no party like a
a
P
P
Diddy
Diddy
party.
party. And
Yeah,
like I
cause
said,
that's yeah, cause to your
the
point, that's
celebrities
why that's
alone.
why I asked.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
It
that's
was
why
a
I asked
who's
to
who:
your
J
point.
Lo, Jay Z,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Beyonce,
yeah.
Will Smith, Jada Smith.
Yes.
I mean,
You name
the
it.
list goes on and
Yes,
on
you
because it's a P
P
Diddy party.
P D Jakes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even good minister T.D. Jakes was at a P Diddy party.
Yes, sir.
Come on,
But he
Yeah,
passed
cause that's
on.
why I asked because the way they were
passed
saying
on.
it
Yeah,
was because that was the guy. Because the reason
You
I asked you
get
because
read
the
them
guy
out.
that
I mean,
said it, he was one of those. He was one of the ones that was hired. So he was
mm-hmm.
one of the escorts. So he
Yes.
was there for them for the prosecution to say help build a RICO case. So okay, so you got paid, so that way you can see the money flowing to get him in. But his
Uh-huh. That's
testimony
right.
was like, nah, like it wasn't about the money. So
Yes.
that's why I was asking, to y'all point, and even how you explain it, Dale. It's like, yeah,
grab a couple things.
especially by him being able to be around, those that was in attendance, you know.
A very good point, Road Dog. Very good point. Yeah, as you pointed out, many came, they was willing, as Dale has repeatedly said, they were willing participants. But the drawback was they really didn't know what a P. Diddy party was.
Mm.
And so it's my belief that
I think some of them knew.
some of them knew,
I'm
they
going
know,
because it's a P Diddy
yeah,
party.
some of them knew Dale, and
I want to be in. You gotta be mindful that when you don't have any sexual inhibitions
they,
and you get invited
you
to a
got,
P Diddy party, come on, come on, it's a freak off.
yes, yes. Them the ones that was for, they're not
Hey,
going to complain, Dale.
I'm not complaining.
Yes.
Because they're gonna grab them a ball of that baby oil
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
gonna go about their
Yes,
business.
they'll hit it right on the head.
So my question too
Go ahead,
is like,
G.
so that's private though.
Exactly.
Yes,
It is
That's
private,
private.
and
yes,
That's private.
everything that go
Mm-hmm.
on there should have stayed there.
yes.
So I mean, so if it's private in my house, and if it's private in your
But
house,
G,
so how the United States
if you
they
break the
going?
law, G, in your house or
It,
out of your house,
is
if the
that the
law was broken,
was it
that's what we
broken?
got. That's what they're trying to prove in the case. Was the law broken or was it not broken?
But
Exactly.
Even in your house, you can't kill anybody, G.
but is it really broken because he sat
That's
there and he wanted to have sex with a man? Is it
no,
really
G, because it was
because
some men that
Nah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
There was other
Well,
men
well.
that it was taken
that
Mhm.
felt like
well,
they was taken.
Yes,
go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
yes, Dale.
Oh no, well no. I was just gonna say to answer Greg's question. That's what the RICO case is. That's why that's why they're trying to do the RICO case
Yes,
because
sir.
what you have is as far as it being transactional and paying people to come cross state lines and all this stuff. That's why like you heard. I don't know if y'all seen the interview with Boosie and Jason. Lee. And Boosie was like, he said, you gotta look deeper. He said, when you think about it, he said, hey, look, when we go to a state and we want to fly somebody out to come kick it with, he said, this is the groundwork. Now you can, if this go through, he was like, this gonna hit every rapper, entertainer, regular person. If you want to fly somebody out, you basically paying for that person's attention and time. So now you
Uh-huh.
hand somebody
Mm-hmm.
$100,000 or whatever. He said it affects everybody. And so I
Yes.
think that's why they
Mm-hmm.
trying to what Greg question is, it's not about the man or woman. It's just about just the paying. Because
Yeah.
when you think about it, everything in those questions, those first 5 days with Cassie as well as with the what's the one male escort, the prosecution was bringing up who set it up. It was always who set it up, who paid. So that's why for the defense, they was like, oh, let's show these text messages where Cassie was saying that she wanted to do them. She wanted them now, and she texting
Yeah.
him to what JP said earlier, like, hey, he was able to function and still do
Yes,
business.
sir.
She reaching out during the weekend. She like, hey, look, I'm horny. I want some BBC to
Yeah.
tear up this pussy. And so that's why they were showing that to show, hey, look, it's kind of hard for you to say that this is all on him when she was a willing participant. She also helped. That way is to tear down their star witness, to
Yeah.
your point. So I mean, it's crazy when you actually think about
It
the
is crazy.
deepness, and then what Boosie said, like it makes sense. The bigger
Oh yeah.
picture of it, to where it's
Oh yeah.
going to affect
Because
any and everybody.
and you're right, rappers and rich folks are known to fly women out all the time. And
Hmm.
pay them certain amount of money to stay with them, which look to me like prostitution. I ain't buying nothing. If they can't give it to me free, well, it ain't nothing free. We know that. Ain't nothing free. But so
Yeah.
Boots making a point. But these cats, where they refer to it as bands, they give them 5 bands, 10 bands. That's chump change for them. And they're known to fly these Instagram models out all the time.
That's right.
And for and we know when they fly them out, that was Boosie's talking about what's expected of them.
Yeah.
They ain't just flying them out to look at
Hmm.
them.
That's right.
They,
They flying with to have sex.
yes, sir, exactly.
Yeah.
And if these females think otherwise, then they're blind.
Yep.
So
True.
so
Mm.
G Money, you asked a question. I'm with Road Dogg. If they was to make a decision tomorrow, I believe it would be a hung jury.
Yeah.
I
So, what is it? One person? It'll only take one person.
yeah, just one person.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it,
Just one.
it'd be more than one. But a hung jury.
Well, you know what? Now, once again, let me just go ahead and say this: we are not saying that
No,
Diddy did not do
we
what
would
he.
no.
Oh
We
yeah.
are not saying
Absolutely.
that. We're not. What we're saying is basic facts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But we're also not saying that if someone gets sexually assaulted, man, please make sure you actually report it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
report
saying?
report
I
it
mean,
early.
don't
Wait 20 years, 15 years,
and
10
that's
years.
and that's one of the conversations I was having is that okay, so why do people wait 10, 15 years to actually report it? You know what I'm saying?
There's a payday attached.
Yeah, that's
Now,
right.
like I said again, they called Cassie. Cassie had been paid by by by
Diddy?
by Diddy's regime.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, why they called her as a
Star witness.
Yeah,
I get because of that video.
I think they.
Everybody's seen the hotel
Yeah,
video where she was
I
assaulted,
think
so
they.
she was the star witness.
But
Yeah,
think about it too. Now she had $100,000. Her husband had 50. Now that's what I was told. Now
yeah,
think
I
about this.
believe.
Now she had 100. Her
Their
husband had
the family net worth went from 150,000 to
nothing, just about nothing. So she contacted Diddy.
with the tell all. Now that went from 150,000
To 20 million.
to 20 million.
Yeah,
So
they
why
keep
should
it in
so
plan.
so when you interview and this was got me and I
Go ahead,
look
G.
it got me kind of puzzled is why should I have to pay somebody who already testified on me?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't.
Why should I give you the rest of the $20 million
Yes.
when? But she, from
I
what
think
she
she's
said,
being a right G.
Yeah.
she said, she said,
Yeah,
Yeah.
she said,
She had no choice.
she said that she'll give the money back. I want the attorney said give the money back.
I didn't hear her say she'd give it back.
No, she said it. She said
She said she'd give it back.
she'll give the money back.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I think if it was up
So
to her, she
imagine
would
this
never
now.
be in court.
I bet you any money she won't give that money back.
Oh, that
No,
money's
she's
coming
not
back.
going to.
Man, they
That's
living
done.
the best life.
They live
Yeah,
a good life.
man.
And now listen, she again, all that she's gone through,
Yeah.
she rebound.
Once again, we're not
She
saying.
got married.
Yeah,
Yep.
Not lived, not
That's
that.
fine.
yeah.
She got
She got
married.
married.
She got married while she was pregnant,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then had another child and got one on the way.
yeah.
Life, I mean,
Fine, got, but
there's emotional stuff going on, but
But
right now on the outside looking in,
Yeah.
life is good.
but you got to
Compared to
think
what
about
she
man.
been
man
Compared to what she's been through.
Yeah.
AF man, AF gotta be. He gotta be kind of sad.
What is AF, my brother?
Alex Fine, that's her
Yeah,
husband's name.
I got
AF, he gotta be
Mhm.
kind of sad. To sit inside
And listen,
and sit
yeah.
inside to
Yeah.
know that somebody who had a bigger cock than you cocked out your.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And more than one. And like I said,
Yeah.
for us,
Yeah.
our wives probably weren't virgins when we
Yeah,
met them.
yeah.
I'm not saying they weren't. But
My
in the same
my
token,
not a version.
But
Damn.
but
Now
cock,
go ahead, cause
but we didn't have to sit there and listen to them stories.
I mean, but
and
look,
we're not going to.
I had somebody at work a couple weeks ago and said that he met his wife on the rebound.
Well,
I said,
Yeah.
how you met? He said
my
because
wives
Yeah.
and husbands on the
he
reason.
said
Yeah.
he met him on the rebound because the guy that his wife was dating at the time, he didn't show up for him. But he said, man, that joker had a bigger cock than I.
G, wait a minute, G. It's understood this. Oh, he want to talk about it no more. Brothers,
So
I ain't got.
no, I mean he said,
Bell over here shaking his head.
and what I mean by that is that,
G,
and what I mean by that
G,
is,
we don't want to know
what I
you
mean by that, cock do matter.
G,
So you saying size matter?
BBC, big black cock do matter.
yeah,
There we go.
yeah, BBC. I thought
Okay.
that was a British broadcasting
No,
network.
BBC. No, it does matter. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So they the British broadcasters.
Yeah.
And he said, so I asked him, I said, so you got your wife on the rebound?
From
He
another
said,
dude.
He said,
From
yeah.
another
He
dude.
said 30 years later. I said, and this is why I messed him up. I said, so did you ask her, do she miss the BBC? And he said, how you know it was a,
Then you say
no, because he said, how you know it was a BBC? And I said, because you said BBC,
yeah,
big black cock.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he said, oh,
Then you say he was messing with big
no,
black cock.
his wife.
His wife.
Okay.
So come to find out,
She white guy.
white guy.
Okay.
She was messing with BBC.
BBC. Gotcha.
But I thought once you went black, you didn't go back.
They got to go back down.
Go back.
Yeah, you got to go back down.
My brothers.
Look,
Sometimes you got to go back.
Look, you got to remember, cream of wheat won't be cream of wheat without the cream
You got to
inside
have
it.
cream. You got to get the cream.
Oh my God.
I know, brothers.
Once you teach them the way how you look, it's just like a flock of dang on chicken. You teach them how to lay the eggs, right?
Gee, you got to teach your chicken how to lay the egg.
But so you got a little bitty, right? A little bitty.
You got to teach them. It's kind of come natural.
So what I mean by teaching it, so what I mean by that is like, think about it. So you make the little thing for them to actually go lay the egg in, right? Am I right or wrong?
The coop, chicken coop.
Yeah.
You're
So
right,
you lay that, right?
Right.
So you teach them how to lay the egg. So think about it. You make the little stuff for them to make the egg in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they gotta sit in there. They make the egg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, G.
Am I right or wrong? They
You
make
right,
the egg.
G. You right. What you got after that though?
No, but they make the egg, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once they make the egg, what happened next?
It got a hatch.
So no. You gotta go in there and get the eggs.
They got to go get
Yeah.
So you teaching them, so they
Yeah.
move out of the way. So that's what I say.
No, G, they moved out the way. When I was at my grandma's, we moved them out the way. We slashed them hands out the way, get the eggs going. I said, boys, what y'all want for breakfast? We said, we want some scrambled eggs. She said, come on out there and get some eggs. We moved them hands off of the egg.
But think
Off the nest.
Off the nest.
But
Yes,
think
sir,
about
then.
it. You have
That was
so but think about they had to get used to you going in there and moving them out the
They
way.
never did
You-
get used to
But
me,
you
G.
don't
I
go in there.
snatched
You don't go in there.
I snatched by the way, G.
You're a bad man.
So gonna be hollering and making noise, be my cousin.
But they they weren't
G, we know
fertilized.
your point.
They
Yeah.
weren't fertilized.
Fertilized at all.
I remember when I was back down here, My
You're right.
grandmother and grandpa, they had
We do.
chickens all over the yard, and one of them or two of them had nests.
Yep.
Now again, we knew where the nest was
Yep.
at, but we didn't go near the nest.
Yep.
And I don't know what got into me one day after
She run you.
oh man,
She run you down.
she ran me halfway, she ran me the whole yard.
Yep.
Because the babies were there now. Don't you
Yes, sir.
touch them babies.
Yes, sir.
Oh, she ran
That's a
me across the
story.
yard. Yeah.
Different story. Them
Yeah.
babies there, they protect.
Yeah. But these are just the eggs. I
I,
guess they wasn't as protected.
yeah.
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 And Dale, I think I knew where your grandmother's, your great grandmother's place was.
Mm-hmm.
Stoneburrow area.
Sternborough Road, somewhere down there. Yeah.
Somebody showed me
Mm-hmm.
where,
Might have been. Mm-hmm.
showed me where yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
But you,
where the house used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, G. G, you got a good point. Now keep talking.
yeah.
You don't
So
forgot.
no.
Ain't nobody fault.
Only thing I was gonna say, you got somebody got to train somebody how to do something.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody got to.
And on that P Diddy case, I think that P Diddy opened the door for her to actually
Yeah,
To be
do it.
trained.
And then once
yeah.
she got experience
She,
to the drugs,
she loved
Yeah.
it that
once she
time.
got experience to the different kind of man, he ain't had nothing on him. He ain't had nothing on
Yeah,
them dang on meal less. I mean,
yeah,
look, man,
yeah.
look, that's just like a fighting
Well,
Rod.
they said he
His,
sat in the
Because you
corner
got
and
to remember
watched.
now,
yes.
Rod,
You
Rod,
gonna sit in the corner and
Rod
watch
is
your girl
His
get
still
Rod
ain't.
is a BBC.
Yes.
Rod,
Rod who?
Gerard.
Hot rod,
oh
hot
Gigolo.
rod.
Where the hell that come
Man,
from?
we ain't gonna
Where that
talk
come
about
from?
Gigolo too.
Rod,
We
Where
ain't
that
gonna
come
talk
from?
about
Rod,
Gigolo.
well
Rod is a big
We
black cop.
we ain't gonna talk about the Gigolo
That's
he on the show.
that's what the girls say.
Yeah.
The girls don't.
Gigolo, we ain't
You
butt
know
messing
what?
with
Oh
you.
shit.
We ain't messing
Before
with
we
you.
even get started, I got a
I
question
bet
though.
you
I
about
got a
ready for the
question.
final thought, ain't you?
No, I got a question. I got a question.
Go ahead,
So,
my
cause
brother.
I watched the Breakfast Club. So, do y'all feel like with all these like civil cases that are like crashing and burning, do you think that it's gonna affect the trial? Because the last one, the guy said he was drugged, he was taken on that I guess Star Island or whatever, and said they went to all these different like houses or whatever, and said that he ended up running into LeBron. LeBron had a towel on. Come to find out, LeBron was playing. He wasn't even in Miami.
Yeah,
He had a
yeah,
game. The other
yeah,
one was
Oh shit.
um Beyonce. He saw Beyonce and Jay Z. Come to find out, Jay Z was in New York. So it's
yeah.
like all this stuff is fault. Like these with them doing that trial, and now you got them trying to do the civil cases too. We're all hearing and seeing this stuff. Do you think that would affect the trial itself? Because if you got all
I,
these
I
bogus claims,
I think at the end of the good point, excellent point. But I think at the end of the day, research. I think, like I said, there was enough video.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if Jay Z and Beyonce was in another part of the country, another part of the world,
Yeah,
that'll be easily proved.
yeah,
But there is also proof that some of them parties they were at. I mean, they'll have proof. I want to say that they'll probably have
you
some
got
kind of
that right, brother.
information.
They're gonna
no,
have
There's
I'm
been
not.
enough
No, I'm not
videos,
saying.
enough.
No, I'm not saying that they wasn't at any of them. What I'm saying is, do you think with the civil cases that are they
it's gonna
bombing?
affect you.
All the
Yeah,
civil
I think
cases
yeah.
right now that's going against P Diddy, they're bombing because everybody's lying. So do you think it's going to
Oh yeah.
affect the trial itself?
Overall, it may, but I think at the end of the day, and excuse me, right now, I think a lot of people's minds already made up,
Yeah.
and it might be a little one sided. But like I said again, as this trial goes on, it's going to be interesting. I agree with the rest of them. If you had a jury that had to go ahead and decide today, I think it'd be a hung
You
jury.
got that right,
I
brother.
think they've heard enough positive and negative. And again, this was a P Diddy lifestyle.
Yes, sir.
This was a P Diddy lifestyle that again he held in his own home.
Yes.
And like I said again, he had things there that in his home
Yes.
is still his
How,
home.
I mean, how much baby oil?
Oh yeah, I get the gallons,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
gallons of
yeah.
baby oil.
Baby oil.
Gallons.
Hey,
You know,
Gallons.
Road Dog, he lubricate them
I
Yeah.
doorknobs.
mean, sure,
He be screaming like a baby
Yeah.
trying to get out of there.
you
Hey,
go for
hey,
that
let me tell you
doorknob. You
something.
got
They'll
baby on the
Yeah,
door.
yeah,
You keep turning, and it just
yeah.
turning it.
And P Diddy movie told
And
me.
he's like, I
hair
got
sloughing
you.
off.
You
Yes,
know, I
sir.
was like,
Yes, sir.
So
Hey,
when
you
you
know
got,
what? You know what's crazy though?
gallons of baby oil and
Yeah,
other type of toys and things
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, He's still his house.
Yes, no
And I
problem.
can have gallons in it's my house.
Yes,
But like I said, when things spill over,
yes,
when you kept there, when you want to leave, when you kept there,
yes.
after,
What you
you know,
call what you call it, Dale?
when you want to leave
Involuntary
and can't,
involuntary
yeah, and
confinement,
come find me. Like,
which is
I want to go.
you
No,
breaking
you
the law.
can't.
Yes,
Now the law's been
section.
in your house.
Yes,
The law's now broken.
Yeah,
as
and
Dale said, when
I
you
think,
say
see,
no, go ahead, my brother.
oh no, I was gonna say to piggyback off of what Dale was saying. That's the other sad part about it is most of the stuff was going on in that time frame that they keep referencing from '05 to was it '05 to 15.
Uh
They talking
huh.
about
Hmm.
hotels. They talking about them being in hotels, so it's not even at his house.
Okay,
So they
gotcha.
not even bringing up the stuff at the house. They talking about the hotel. So now
Wow.
that's where they trying to get the trafficking at. Even bigger.
Okay.
But then to what they were saying about all the baby oil, like the one guy I seen that was reported after the every day he going through the what you call the transcripts or whatever, and he was saying the same thing like yo for you to even for you to enter they got the baby oil on deck to when you walk
Ain't that
in, you
something?
got to start lubing up then. And then the other
Ain't,
piggyback off of the other part what Dale said, even in the act of it, say he'll get up and he'll be like, hey, look, oil, baby oil and shit.
ain't that
That
something?
shit was crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, when you worth more than $1 billion, you a lot of times when you worth more than $1 billion, like when you rich like that, you either gotta get what you want or you gonna take what you want.
Yeah, yeah.
That's that mentality they
Yeah,
have. And so I think they said they
true.
took over 1,000. I forget how many. Like, they'll say it was gallons, but
Mm.
then they talk about thousands of bottles of baby oil. Brother, I've been around about almost 60 years. I ain't never need that much baby oil.
I ain't been at Ash.
No,
I
that
ain't
was
never been at Ash.
yes, sir.
I
So,
need all of that.
so folks, I think as Dale pointed out, and Road Dog, folks, sometimes folks knew what was going on.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and it was a risk you took when you went to a P Diddy party.
And let me tell you, I hear what Cassie was saying in that for the love of P. Diddy, I would do whatever he asked me to do.
Mm-hmm.
I would enter into threesomes because women do it today.
Yeah.
And that so again you can kind of feel that for the love of P. Diddy,
Yes.
I would let him sit in a corner and touch himself while other men would have me
Uh-huh.
for that love.
Uh-huh.
I would hope that that wouldn't happen anymore. But like I
Yes.
said,
Yes.
it's still going on today.
Yes.
She
Yes.
was 21,
Yes.
22 ish. Her frontal lobe wasn't even fully developed.
Exactly.
But at the same token, that's how much she loved him. There's women out here today,
Yes.
I don't care what nobody say, still love their man or their person enough
Yes.
to do some of the things that she did.
Uh-huh.
So like I
Yes.
said, for whatever reason. But she chose.
Yes.
Pretty as she is, she could have walked away,
Yes.
but I love him.
Yes.
He's my
It was a
everything.
choice.
And then, like I said again, he exposed her to a lifestyle that, come on,
She could
she
have
could
never
have
been exposed to nothing.
exactly anything she
Yes.
wanted. I mean, she could be anywhere she wanted to
Yes.
be. Be in another country,
Yes.
and
And
by just
blink
making
of
a
an eye.
phone call.
Yeah.
So that kind of and that kind of influence,
Oh yeah.
that's impressive, especially
Yes.
when you didn't have a lot. But again, she come from nice school, nice family. Um, but like I said again, she was under the. I say she was under the influence.
She was under influence.
Yep.
Dale, you hit it right on
And
the
see,
head.
and sometimes you get drunk with power.
Yes, sir.
Power makes you drunk.
Yes, you hit it right
Yep.
on the head. Well said. Well said.
Yes, sir.
Yes, well said. Power makes you drunk.
It does.
Yes.
And you can't give
Hmm.
anybody power.
No, no, you can't
You
give
know,
everybody power.
And that's the
I've
crazy
had
part is
just one.
like his defense. His defense is like they are really painting that picture out to where it's like like how it started out with like he forced her to do everything from beginning to the end of it,
No.
and they showing the text messages and even with some of her own like through the cross examination and she like no or yes or whatever the case, it's starting to paint. They are painting that picture of it's like nah, like you was a willing participant. No matter how it ended, you were
Oh
still a
yeah.
willing participant in some of it.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
You know,
I
and it's
yes.
like Because it showed someone like it was one of those texts when he told her like, "Hey, look, if you want to do it, you set it up this week." And so she was picking it, and she
Yeah,
was sending texting him back and was like, "Hey, I like his, I like his big dick, and and all this shit, and like the defense was doing pretty solid to as far as their case, and just like what G Man said in the beginning, none of us are picking a side, but you just going by what's being presented, and you
Yeah,
got to be logical in what you're seeing, and that is
that's
like
right.
it's hard to say it's all on him without looking at the facts of what's being presented.
yes,
From what
You
we
know,
know, the
you
first week of
know,
trial, it's
go ahead,
I
G.
just, I just feel sad for all this right here because you know, you tell me that the United States government are there, they can come in our house and do whatever they want to do and call. You know what I'm saying? We don't, man. At the end of the day, we don't have no privacy at all. They
No,
already got all the cameras
you
up.
don't actually own
We
anything.
don't
No,
own nothing.
I want to be mindful.
yes.
You go ahead and turn around and
Don't pay
house
the
pay
tax.
for your house.
Yeah,
This is your
pay the
house.
tax.
You don't pay your
Don't
tax.
pay tax.
Don't pay the tax.
Your vehicle
Don't
is
Pay the
yours.
tax.
yeah,
Don't pay the taxes.
yeah,
You can't drive it
You
yeah,
legally.
you know what
You
I
know,
mean?
it's like the
yeah, no,
government is in control. And like I said again, this man in his house
yeah,
was having parties and things that he wanted to have
And
because it was house.
now
yeah,
think about it. Now
yeah,
everybody had a choice, a chance,
yeah.
To
and a
say no and leave.
exactly.
But fellas, here's what y'all miss.
Look. Let me no,
Go ahead, G.
let me say this before
Say,
before you
G.
look. That is like if I don't win the seventh freak off, and they look and they say, look, why are you going to another eighth one
Yes,
if it's that bad?
yes,
You know what I'm saying?
yes.
I'm just saying that.
You got a
Yeah.
point, G. But Road Dogg made another point. Road Dogg explained to us that what they're pushing the issue on was mostly motels, wasn't at his house.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
The
what he was.
traveling part,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, the travel.
Oh
He was
That do
explaining to
make
us
sense.
that
Mm-hmm.
most of what they pushing the
Sex
agenda.
trafficking,
Yeah,
good.
it was at motels,
Well,
right, Road Dogg?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't.
well, I wasn't in here when you were talking. My bad,
Yeah, it
brother.
wasn't at his house. Tell him,
Oh
Road
no,
Dogg, you
you
need to
good.
set his butt down somewhere.
Mm.
Tell G, you need to set his butt down somewhere. He too big for me to tell him, Road Dogg. Tell him, father.
Let me hold the slingshot tonight.
You get G, you know you
Mm.
I'm
got
gonna leave
plenty.
my car here. I'm going slingshotting.
Well, you sleep all you want, long as you home with Miss Shells.
But it's just crazy how like money make people do some crazy stuff, man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that, and I'm not
People
once
get
again,
stupid sometimes.
I'm not saying that Cassie this or Diddy this. You gotta remember,
Money.
money
Talks
talks.
and bull walks. I ain't got to say.
Is right.
It talks.
Yeah.
Yes. So, again, Road Dogg, I believe, in Gigolo, I believe if they was have them make a decision today, yes, or tomorrow, it would be a hung jury. Because, like I say,
It only take one, right?
I would take one. It'd be more than one that's gonna side with P Diddy. You can believe that, G. It's gonna
So
be
you
more
think?
than one.
So do all right. So if it's a hung jury, right?
Yes.
Do they let him out or do they hold him?
They normally retry. They'll do a retrial. They'll do a retrial most of
So
the
the
time.
retrial is because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
They
He'll
got to
go
attorney
come
of the
to
home
it.
United
for
States
he'll go home.
didn't
Here's
like
the
the.
district attorney. They got to come to a conclusion. He either got to be guilty or not guilty.
Hmm.
But yeah, and then a lot of times when there's a hung jury, and they like 9 times out of 10 when they retrial, he end up being found not guilty.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So now what you saying, Road Dogg?
Oh no, I said that yeah he'll if it is the hung jury he'll go home until the retrial.
Yes, until the retrial.
Yeah.
Because right now,
Mm-hmm.
But
yes,
my question. So he gets out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say
that's
okay,
my understanding.
he gets out.
Yes,
So if he gets out, um, does the public perception of him does it change?
you
Yes.
you
Do we
you
go
believe it
back
will.
to do we go back to listening Like I don't think nobody ever really stopped listening to his music, listen to music,
Yeah.
Bad Boys
Hey,
catalog.
G,
But you know what I'm saying? Like I said, is the public perception different at this point?
hey, let me
Because
tell you something.
technically, right now, as it stands, he has not done anything that warrants him to be guilty. He's just a freak.
Uh-huh.
Other
Yeah.
than
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
when Dawn Richard when she said that she saw Puffy hit Cassie with that frying pan with eggs in it.
Uh-huh.
So far,
Hey,
that's the only thing that shows guilt right now of something
gotcha.
So
Was that
that
Cassie
he
was
is
dragging
so
out in the
abusive.
hallway too?
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
my
Yeah,
question
yeah.
too is
So
that
that too. So yeah. Hmm.
Hey,
yeah. Yeah,
well,
my question too is that Richardson, I mean, she was trying to get some money from him
oh,
too.
she won't none of that
You know what I'm
She
saying?
was
BBC.
At
trying to get her.
first,
She was trying to get her catalog because Puffy was gonna
Oh,
release.
okay.
He was gonna release everybody's catalog,
Oh,
but we
so
don't
that,
know.
yeah,
Like we don't know what happened with
yeah.
that.
all right. So who's the girl? Remember the girl name with the dirty money? What was the other girl name? Because she said Pete Diddy didn't do anything that Dawn said. Remember the dark
Hmm.
skinned girl.
Yeah.
Remember they had dirty
Mm.
money.
Was that a label?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what they
Yeah.
called, not the label, but it was the group
Okay,
name
Dirty
Dirty
The
Money.
group.
Money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eh,
It was Dawn Richardson and another girl. The other girl never came out and said that she seen anything that Dawn was talking about.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's always gonna be somebody contradicting what
Oh
you
yeah.
saying.
Oh
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's
Yeah.
always gonna be like, man, look, he treated me good. I don't
Yeah.
know how he treated you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But Dawn, and then you got Aubrey from Danity
So I,
Kane.
I, first time hearing this, G.
Aubrey, she got it bad for him, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like, y'all know who I'm talking about.
Mm-mm.
Aubrey from Danity Kane,
Mm-mm.
one of the
Yeah.
singers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
She out to get him too.
She ought to get him too.
Yes.
I'm not saying. Look, once again, we're not
No. Thank you,
saying
G.
because we weren't there.
Yeah. Hey, I want y'all.
It's just our opinion.
Yes. I want y'all to remember one
We
thing though. When
also
you ask the
we
question,
also have to say allegedly until
Yeah.
this is
allegedly.
done.
Yes. Hey.
Allegedly, you got to put allegedly on there.
Yes. Gigolo, you asked a question. So would this affect P Diddy? In my belief, it make P Diddy more popular. See, because now here's what I'm saying. In this country, we all know laws are swayed against men. This might make a lot of women
We don't
mad.
have no laws in this
No,
country.
women got more rights than we got. Now they got more authority, more power, and they may deny it, but they do. All they have to do is cry. My wife slapped the hell out of me right now.
Mm,
And when the cops get here and she get to crying, they'll lock me up. Tell me I got to leave my house. And I'm like, I ain't do nothing.
Oh shit.
Come on, Mr. Patton, you got to go.
that's
You know, but they got the authority. And they want the authority even though they can't handle it. Yeah, ladies, I'm going to make you mad. They can't handle it. Men are made to be in leadership. Some may disagree with me in general, but now in the case of P Diddy, um, perhaps he done those things, perhaps he didn't. Uh, but one thing's for sure, he's got plenty of money, and women love. What name of the label? G Money. Bad
bad
boys.
boys.
He is a bad boy. Women don't want most the majority of women would tell you they do not like good, nice guys.
He's
They
a
like
freak.
cats like
He's
P
a freak
Diddy,
boy.
which is a bad boy. Uh,
No, we can't give him the label
a,
bad boy. He a freak.
he a freak and he's a bad boy.
He's a freak. Anybody that
P
sit in
Diddy,
the corner to watch
P
his girl
Diddy,
having sex and
P
he
Diddy. That makes him
jaculating,
even a bad boy.
and then the thing about it, you putting dang on the pee on your dang on nipples. You
Mm-hmm.
call them nipple butter.
Mm,
What they call it, a golden
mm,
shower when they pee on them.
And look,
mm,
and
P
he
Diddy
like
done peed on
look.
many of them.
mm,
Now they like that and they get excited about that.
mm.
So I'm not talking about all women, but the majority of women say that they do not like nice guys. And P Diddy, G don't agree with me,
He
but
was
P Diddy
ultimate not nice guy.
not he ultimately not nice, and I would call him a true bad boy.
Yeah, well
He,
yeah.
he a bad
I say
boy,
yeah,
G.
he a bad boy.
He a bad boy, G. He
You
about
a bad?
like you.
No, I'm not a bad boy.
Yeah, he about like you don't
I
trust
retired.
money. You don't trust
I
money.
retired.
You a bad boy, G.
No, I
You
retired.
just ain't got P Diddy money.
No, I ain't got no money.
Yeah,
And look,
G's not.
please do not look. 5 years from now, please don't listen to this.
G a bad boy, but he ain't got P Diddy money. Yeah, he a bad boy. Hey, and I'm learning from him and Dale. I ain't gonna be. I ain't no nice guy. I ain't gonna be a nice guy.
No, you're not.
I'm a kind guy. I ain't gonna be no nice dude though, ladies. So my wife probably tell you I'm a butthole. So
Yeah, yeah.
she'll be half correct.
Yeah.
She'll be half correct. Half time I'm a butthole. The other half time I'm a kind guy. All right, my brothers. Any other thoughts?
I have none. I again, like I said, I know we hadn't hit the final thoughts yet, but again, we
Hmm.
haven't had any callers. But like I said, we realize it's Saturday and we normally on Fridays.
Yeah.
Again, we
Yeah.
get together as men to kind of honor and celebrate and fellowship with one another.
Yes, sir.
That's, I mean, very important.
Yeah.
So like I said, I think the topic was
Oh
interesting.
yeah, fellas, y'all come up with a good topic that time.
Yeah, I think ongoing,
Yeah.
like I said, we're curious to see where the trial is going to end.
Yes.
Like I said, we're still wishing everybody the best.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this man had did some things that was nice
Yes.
and not so nice.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, who are we to judge?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I, I,
I
All
think
right.
it's so
With that being
much,
said,
and that one the first week been so much, and we still got 7 weeks to go, and I still feel like 8 weeks may not be enough to get the full what's the word I want to say, not understanding, but the full scope of what
yes.
Yeah.
those parties were,
Yes.
and what really was going on.
Road dog.
Like it's
Is it
crazy. Yeah,
road dog? Are they estimating it's gonna take 8 weeks for this trial?
yeah, that's what they're saying. 8 weeks,
Hey, road
and
dog. Think how
Just
long
think
did
Cassie did the first week by herself.
road dog?
Yeah.
May I ask you something? Wasn't O.J.
Yeah,
Simpson's trial a lot longer than 8 weeks?
How long that trial was?
I thought it was.
Dale is gonna look it up for us. They're probably incorrect when it comes to P Diddy's trial. I would think a trial of this magnitude would probably be more than 8 weeks. There's no telling how long, but Dale is looking to see how long OJ's trial was. Yes, we realize that P Diddy there was what this is not a murder trial, but we got so much. It seems like there's so much more to this trial
Eight
than
months.
that. Dale just looked up OJ Simpson's trial. 8 months. 8 months. So I don't see how P Diddy's trial is gonna be 8 weeks unless they done just made the mind up. We're gonna do this for 8 weeks and that's it. And that would be at the judge's discretion. But I would think this trial would go a lot longer than 8 weeks because there's so much to it compared to an OJ Simpson trial.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's my baby talking. Let me find out what's going on. Got to report in.
Yeah.
I've got
Trying
to
to tell you,
report in.
party. She might be telling time the party over with.
Yes, I got to
I
report
think it's
in.
time for final thoughts, fellas.
It's,
If JP got the
yep,
call,
that's what I was about to
it's
say.
time for final thoughts.
I'm a bad cat, but I
All
got to
right.
You
report
got to
in.
report in.
All right. Final thoughts. Who want to go first?
I think I kind of hit mine, but like I said again, for those that have hit the show later on, I hope you like it, hope you appreciate it. At the end of the day, like I said again, with P Diddy, like I said, I honestly wish him well. I have no skin in the game. I got no dog in this fight. Like I said, but again, he made some decisions, like we all do, and hopefully, like I said, it won't hang him. But like I said, justice will be served at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I'll go next. You got to remember your obstacle is not somebody else's obstacle and all that stuff like that. We all got training wheels for our use too.
Yep.
So life is just short. I mean, you know what I mean? Stop trying to bring down the other person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lift up the other person. You would never ever know what your blessing where your blessings stand at if you lift up the other person.
That's right, my brother.
So I mean, take off the training wheels and have some fun in life and all that stuff like that. But we only got one time at this, you know what I mean?
That's it.
So, and that's my final thought.
Man, that's good. I missed part of it, G, but you smarter than I thought you were.
God dang it.
I
Oh
thought you
wow,
were.
hot done.
Yeah.
Mm.
What just
G
happened?
smart. G
Hey,
smart.
look,
I'm a little jealous of it.
look, coming from Bob the Builder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Wisdom to you. Gave some
JP,
good wisdom just
you,
now. I would say
JP, you
this
got a
right
final
here.
thought?
Yes, I listen to G's with that good old wisdom that he put it well. I like to try to be funny, but I ain't gonna even be funny this time, but he's right. We only live one time in this world, and we should enjoy it. And as he pointed out, take off them training wheels and live. Stop saying what I'm going to do 10 years from now, and if you can do it tomorrow, try to do it tomorrow.
Amen.
And that's my final thought.
That's nice. I like
Bro,
that. I don't know if I can follow that one. That's nice.
Yes, you can.
Ooh,
Bro, Doc, you
I
always
don't
got
know.
something.
Let's see. Mm. As you look to the left,
Mm.
don't admire. Look to the right.
What?
Desire
Road dog, we,
was
we
there
can't bet with you, road
because
dog.
up and down will always see you through.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
okay,
Damn.
okay. I'm
Road
gonna do
dog.
my final thought, but
Because
I'm not gonna lie to you. When Rose said look to your left, I really like look to my left, and then I looked to my right, and what I saw was JP's house. So, you know, but we want to appreciate everyone that stopped through.
yes, sir.
We didn't have any messages, but we appreciate anybody that came through.
You
We
got that right,
appreciate
brother.
everyone that will be listening later on tonight, and we'll be back next week. My final thought is, my final thought. You know what? I ain't even got one. Y'all covered everything, so we're going to call this one. Uh,
Yes, sir, bro.
this is Run and Tell That
What you
podcast,
got?
and we are out.
Just send me that picture.
Yes, sir.